Hey there, Winnie here with Jazzydoodledesigns, and I apologize for the lights. It's so hard. Okay, so I bought these Woomer acrylic markers. Now, y'all, you can't blame me. I was doing a favor. Somebody asked me for some information on the Woomer pencils, so I got on their website or on their Amazon store, and I saw these. And you just can't pass up a really good deal, can you? Plus, I was really interested because I do like these kind of markers. Now, this just says acrylic markers. It says they're bleed proof. It says that they are waterproof and they're water-based. So I thought I would give it a go. Now, one of the things that I really love is that when I got this package, first of all, it came in a box that you can't even see my hands, like a bigger box. Inside the bigger box was this package encased in the chunky styrofoam blocks that form fit to it. So it was about this big. Are we struggling with size? Yeah. It was like this big, right? So it really protected the markers. And I really appreciated that, they took the amount of care to get them to me undamaged. Second thing I absolutely love right off the top is, do you see where this handle is? Right? It's got this nice little case. How cool is that? But notice which direction the markers are. They are horizontal in this case. So I have said this a million times. Why is it that if markers are supposed to be stored horizontally, do they give us storage that is vertical, like Tombow? It makes me crazy. So I was very excited to see this. 100 extra points for Woomer, right off the top. So let's pop into it. So the lid comes off, and look at our beautiful like skin tones and neutrals here on the top. Oh, I see. So each layer has these 4 little clips to it. Okay, all right. Oh, and this pops off, and here's our next row. Okay, how's that? Yeah. Are we going to be able to get them all in? Probably not. We'll see. Okay, so my thoughts. I like that these are stored horizontally very much. Having to undo all these little tabbies, not my favorite thing, but y'all know I'm impatient, so ignore me. It's not all about me. Okay, but each tray goes out. Now, once you get these all out, all right, we're just going to do them all on one side. Okay, and all on this side. These are not hard at all. They very easily open, so that is not an issue. Okay, now our greens going into green blues, some more green blues. Oh, look at these colors. I am loving the color choices here. And then our pinks and purples and some grays and neutrals. So that is how they come. Now, I like that they're somewhat in a color order. I like that they stack. That's nice. I personally wish there was one clippy to get to them, though I'm not sure how that would work. be honest. All right, so here's our stack. Let's pull these aside and take a look at the pin itself. Let's zoom you way in. Okay, so it says acrylic, automatic ink control. It does have the stars here that show your level. Now, the one thing I will say is I would like to see these stars down here. I want to see as it's getting empty, not as it's getting full. But this is a nice indicator to see if your paint is mixed. Can you see here? This is much lighter than this darker. So that tells me that we need to shake this. Now, do you see how that color is much more uniform? Okay, random square piece of paper here. Ready to use. I do not have to prime anything with these. And that is a really pretty color. Let me just get out, here's a Sharpie. Let's let that dry for just a second. Won't take long. I like that there is a number here, albeit small. It says R187. So I do like that they are numbered in some way. Now, on the back of that packaging, we have this little swatch, but I don't see any other swatch sheet. So there's nothing else that comes with it. Okay? All right, let's see. Now, these are bigger lines. So this is one. And we'll let that dry, and then we will do another layer. So there's two. Three. So that's a really thick line. Let's do more reasonable lines. Are we zoomed in? Yep, we're zoomed. I will try and zoom in a little more when I edit. Give that a second to dry, because sometimes it pops back out after, like, you think, oh yeah, that colored beautifully, and then you look at it again and it didn't. So this is one, this is two or three, because I kind of, really went over it. But you definitely can get total opacity with these. Now, I don't think it's going to be a one and done. Now, that is with this color. Let me make a few more lines here. We'll try some different colors. Here's the white. Now, it's always important to shake really well before each use. Okay. So we'll give that a second. Let's get a darker color. Oh, did I shake it? Nope. Now, I know a lot of people don't like shaking. For me, is it awesome if you don't have to? Yes. But is it a deal breaker for me? No. So the darker colors cover beautifully. This white actually covers pretty dang well for being one pass. Let's go ahead and do a second one. So overall, the opacity seems great. I do like that they're numbered. I do like their storage. I do like it's a compact little box. It doesn't take up, you know, how do I have my other markers? Do I have them near me? I don't, but I have them in a big binder. And I really like the size of this, because look at the size. Like, let's see what it is. So, 7 3/8 by 5.5. That's not bad. That's really not bad. How tall? Let's put the lid on. With the lid, it is 6 1/4. So, you know, it's a very compact little storage system. So I really like that. Okay, so let's take a look at all of the beautiful colors. Now, the one thing I will say for this set is I think there are some really, really nice colors in this. I love that we have these more beigey yellows and then our brighter yellows moving into our ochre kind of yellows. And then we have some peach into this orange. A few reds. The red selection is not fantastic. I don't hate it. And quite honestly, these two fall in that red category as well. I like these pinky purples. I like the skin tones. I like that you get, you know, too often we get this as our skin tone, right? Which is this perky peach, which, you know, I mean, I'm probably perky peach, but sometimes you want a little more shadowing, and I think that this is a really good color to blend into your shadow areas, like on your hairline and around the nose and things like that. So I was real pleased to see those. And then we even push into maybe even this one, though I would say it's a little on the brown side, but sometimes you want that in those darker areas. I absolutely love the blue greens because we have this nice aqua-y section, but then we've got the teals, and then we got more of the blue or the green blues as opposed to the blue greens. We have some brighter greens, a little bit of my favorite, which are more of the olivey green or the muted greens. Do like that. It's not a perfect stair step. The greens, which I think is very common, are kind of all over the place. And when I put these together, I felt like this color, it was a little too muted to go over here. Because like when you look at it here, you're like, oh, it could go over here. But when you put it together, it doesn't look right. But then when you put it with these, it doesn't look right either. So it's just one of those kind of oddball colors. But I will say sometimes you need colors like this if you're trying to cover lines. I like the grays that we have. The browns are okay. So overall, I even like the purples. I wish we had one more purple between these two because I don't really feel like those two really go together. This is more of a gray lavender. This is more of a brighter violet. I would like a softer violet. But could we all can we talk? No. Don't we all critique these color families and say, well, I could have done better? Well, you know, I don't know that I could, because who doesn't love that color? Who doesn't love that color? Right? So, you know, it is what it is, but you have 120 colors in a very compact little package here, and it's set up to be stored in the proper configuration. So I will say that these are not that hard if you do them all at once. Just like flip through them, boop, 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 and put them back together, right? I was trying to figure out how I would have done it better, but overall I really like this, and I like that if you were, you know, working on a picture and you only needed maybe, you know, maybe you're working on something with the greens, you could just pull that one little tray and have it on your desk and have the big case somewhere else. So I do like that about it. Now, as far as my doing this swatch chart, what did I find? There are a few colors like this one, and maybe this one, that are a little less opaque. They're a little more translucent. Now, they looked mixed to me, but I think sometimes you have to be very careful that you've shaken them enough. One of the things that I did, and I think, oh, here it is. When I was swatching, after I shook them, you don't need to prime these, but what I did was I just made one little mark, because sometimes when you very first get them, up in the nib is still an uneven mixture, right? The first time. And so I just did a little swatch, or a little mark, and then I went ahead and started, and I found that by doing that, it made a big difference. I don't think I'll have to do that again. I think that was just the first time, right? And if stored properly, I think that these should be great. The one thing I will always tell you, and I'll try and show you, let's see if I can see one. So let me zoom in as far as I can. So do you see the bubbles here? And do you see how on this side where it was laying down, see how opaque this is? And see how this is a darker yellow with the bubbles? This indicates you need to shake it. So you're going to have to shake these every time. But then do you see how we became more cohesive? I can see this one needs shaking a little bit more. But you want to make sure that you're shaking. There is a bearing in there. You can hear that. If you're not hearing the bearing, sometimes I do this because it'll kind of get stuck in a little paint blob down here. So I'll kind of hit it on my hand. But look now how uniform that color is. We don't have that. Let me get a similar color. See the dark and the light? This is all uniform. This is how you want it to be when you use it. If you use it like this, the fluid part will enter the nib more, and your paint, or yeah, the acrylic paint will come out more translucent, and you won't get the results you want when you're trying to cover a line. And so you just need to be careful about that. Okay, so while we have this out, I'm going to flip this over. Let's talk about the pen itself. The pen itself it's not a pen, Wendy, it's a marker. Fair. Okay, it is 5 1/4, and it is about 3/8 of an inch to 1/2 an inch wide. I don't have calipers or anything like that. The color, let's see if the color matches. I'm going to look at my number 9. What do you think? It's this one right here. I think it's pretty good. Let's try. Let me open another case here. We'll grab this red, 25. I think that they're pretty close. When I was swatching, oh, Ellie says hi. Isn't that nice of her? She's always wanting to talk to you guys when I'm talking to you. Okay, so, you know, I think they're, for the price especially, I think they match pretty well to the lid. All right, so back to looking at the pen. Well, I guess we'll just pick this one. So once again, you have a color matching lid. We have some openings here to where you can see if your paint is mixed. I personally would prefer this down in the lower region because as your paint goes down, you would think you'd want to see it here instead of all of these up here. But, you know, I don't run the world. They are a brush marker. Okay, so 5, we talked about the size. Okay, let's talk about the top. They are labeled. This says F283. So they each have a number. There are no names. There are no names on the back of the chart. There's no names on the pen itself. It's just the number, which I'm okay with personally. I went ahead and did my numbering system, which if you're familiar, the number here, 35, goes with this pen. I find that this is easier for me to then put them back in my case because I have them all numbered, and I go, if I have all of these out, I can easily go 35, 32, 30, 33, 31, and 34. And now they're back in order, okay? So, in case you were wondering about that, there's a whole video. Go to my oldest video on my channel where I talk about this system. I will try and remember to put a link in the description box. They have a little, what is this, a nib or something where it keeps it from rolling off the table. So that's nice. Let's look at the brush. It is kind of it's not a brush like with, apologies for the phone, with like hair. It's more of a sponge type of brush. It's a direct liquid. These are very much like the Artex ones that I told you I really like. I like these as well. To me, they are very similar. I wonder if they're the same. Should I have pulled them out? Yes. But I didn't, sadly. So anyway, what else? I think that's about it as far as the pen goes. Personally, I enjoy using these. I don't mind shaking because it's pretty easy. It doesn't take, like, it's already mixed. The more frequently you use art supplies, the less you will have trouble with clogging and like the bead getting stuck and things like that. If you don't use a medium for quite a while, you will have more trouble. So use your art supplies, you guys. Which I think is interesting because when I was making cards a lot, I never had trouble with glue. My glue was always fine. The lid didn't get clogged or anything else. But as I have moved into coloring more and I'm not making cards as much, now when I go to use my glue, I find that it is clogged often. And it's because I'm not using it. So over time, the air inevitably will seep in and cause you problems. So I encourage you, buy products, use products. This is just an excuse to get them out and play with them. Okay, one last thing I want to note before I actually use these per se is that in swatching, I swatched them twice because I put them in the order that they gave them to me, which was not horrendous, but definitely it was random. Like it'd have these 3 in a row and then there'd be a pink one here, so that was kind of weird. But I went ahead and put them in an order I can live with. I don't have a lot of time right now, so could I have spent a little more time and maybe tweak this a little bit more? Possibly. I can live with this. And this chart will be available on the Ko-fi shop. They are free, donation only if you feel like it. All money collected goes back into buying products like these so I can do reviews and whatnot. What was I going to say? That wasn't what it was. Oh, I was going to say not a single one of these had a problem. I didn't have any problems with lids. I didn't have any problems with any of them being dried out or not working. I didn't have any that were wildly wrong or anything like that. So overall, I was very impressed in terms of that, because sometimes when you buy what I will call cheaper products, and by that I'm saying these are not $2 a marker or $5 a marker like a Copic or a Tombow. These ended up being, well, what's 83 divided by 120? One moment. Because you don't want me doing math without the calculator. They're 70 cents a piece. Okay? Now, what I would and I personally like these brush tips. I like the tips like these because I feel like they last longer than I don't like the plastic nib ones. I have a bunch of those. Tule Art makes those. And to be honest, I just struggle with them clogging. And it annoys me. And I do take my own advice, and I do shake them a lot, and I do try and use them frequently. Though I don't use them maybe every day. But what I like about this set too is that this little set could sit right next to me, you know, by my side, and not take up my whole dang desk. Okay, so I decided to color a picture using the Woomer acrylic markers, and I chose this one in A Million Baby Animals by Lulu Mayo. Now, this was a challenge on my Facebook group. This page was chosen as kind of like a group buddy color. So I use nothing but Woomer pen markers. Now, I can't say that this is my favorite form of coloring in the sense of I actually really like the look when you color with colored pencils, but overall I think these markers did really well. Now you can see there are little, you know, there are some streaks and such. I did not use these off of a palette or anything else. This is just straight marker to paper, but it didn't take me that long, and it was kind of fun to do. It was freeing, if you will, because the challenge for myself was to only use these markers. I had to adjust for color. I had to really challenge myself to limit it just to the markers, because in the past I've done other markers and then acrylic over the top. I've done pencils with acrylic over the top. Most of the time, I use my acrylic for this kind of thing, like these marks at the end, or to eliminate the line on the clouds, things like that. But overall, I'm pleased with this page, and it got me through the challenge, and I enjoyed using the Woomer markers very much. I think there's always going to be a challenge when you do really big backgrounds like this. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this video. Would I recommend these markers? I would. I have Artix Direct. I have ZC. Is it ZCY? Let me see what it is. ZSCM Direct acrylic markers. I personally like the style of the Direct Liquid. It's my favorite of all the acrylic markers, as opposed to Tule Art with the little plastic nibs. I think it's all about personal preference and how you want to use them. I know there are people that blend these using a little bit of water. There are people that put these on palettes. I wanted to see what these did direct to page, and I really wasn't disappointed. So that is it. The link for my Facebook group, the membership, the markers, where to find them, and all of that will be in the description box below. And if you want the chart that I filled out with the colors, that will also be on my Ko-fi shop, which is in the description box below. So until next time, guys, happy coloring. Thank you for watching another video from Jazzydoodledesigns. If you'd like even more Jazzy Doodle and a little more snark, please check out the membership below. If you're looking for a community where you can share your work and chat with other fellow colorists in a safe and welcoming environment, hit the subscribe button to Jazzydoodledesigns and then look for Jazzydoodledesigns Coloring Community on Facebook. And there you can join a group of fellow colorists to talk all things coloring and share cute pet pictures. I hope to see you there, and until next time, happy coloring. Did I just totally lose my entire train of thought? Yes, my mind went completely blank. Oh, I